Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2020 general reading. We're looking at the first half of May from the 1st to the 15th. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is healthy and safe and, as I always say, as sane as possible in the always fluid, ever changing, restrictive environment we have been living in. But thanks for joining us here today. So, this reading is for the air sign of Aquarius for the first 2 weeks of May. That's Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Rising if your Venus is in Aquarius, or if you are cross-watching for an Aquarian. It's all relevant. But as many of you know, general readings resonate always a little differently for everyone. So if you know all of your signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, watch them. It can be helpful. For those of you for whom this or any of the videos do resonate, if you want to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading or info, click on the description link below, click on that little arrow. You'll see some contact details there. You can email me at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. I can usually respond to your initial inquiry with info within the same day or the first 24 hours. And scheduling's pretty timely too. I do readings full time. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with your schedule and my schedule to get readings out to you or set up with you as quickly as we can. So for those of you who are interested, I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, let's move right along for Aquarius. The first half of May. I'm using The Legacy of the Divine Tarot by artist Cyril Marchetti. Aquarius, okay. First half of May for Aquarius. We begin with the Three of Swords, followed by the Sun. We have the Six of Coins, also another deck known as Pentacles, followed by, sorry, that was the Five of Coins. And here is the Six of Coins. That's interesting. Looks a bit challenging, Aquarius, but I feel like something bright is not too far away. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy is the Ten of Cups, the Happy Home card. So Aquarius, on the surface, and not to trivialize this, uh, because feelings always go below the surface, it looks like some of you are having a difficult time with something. And a lot of your attention is on home and family right now, and the happiness and kind of round completeness of home and family, whatever home and family means to you, is like on the forefront of your mind. But there's a struggle you're going through right now, sadness that you're going through right now, and some kind of hardship and insufficiency. It might be financial, it might be related to the actual physical property of your home. I mean, your overall energy and focus for the first half of May is the Ten of Cups, which is the traditional happy home, contentment. The aces in the tarot represent the start, the new beginning, the number one, a new opportunity. And tens represent the fulfillment of that suit, like the absolute most or too much of the most, the fulfillment and achievement coming full circle. In the Ten of Cups, it's lovely energy because cups is water, emotion. This is traditionally called the happy home card, and it usually in any tarot deck is usually expressed by something that has to do with, looking like a happy home. And one of my decks, it has a beautiful cottage on a sunny day, people sitting outside. It's just like this lovely, contented. It represents feeling like you've come to a place where everything's finally come together, everything's in its proper place. Um, Everything is really great. You feel loved, contented, harmonious, balanced, everything that has to do with home and family. Here we have a roaring fire, and the dog and the cat are kind of content. Grandma's probably knitting in the corner, and there's probably something bubbling on the stove. You know, it's just one of those cards that make you feel like, God's in his heaven and all's right with the world kind of energy, and directly in relation to home and family. So the happiness, stability, fulfillment of home and family, maybe even the actual physical property of your house or your apartment or whatever, is what's your focus for the first half of May. But it looks like you're going through some hardship, some sadness and hardship right now, Aquarius, because on the surface, we'll look at the top cards first and then look at the clarifying cards. So on the top, we have the Three of Swords, which is it's a card of pain, emotional pain, heartache, heartbreak, deep disappointment. Sometimes in romantic relationships, it can represent infidelity or cheating. It might be that for some of you. I don't feel like it's that for a lot of you, but it might be that for some of you. But it represents, emotional pain. In the preceding card, which of course would be the Two of Swords, it's the person who's stuck and they're blindfolded and they don't want to look at something. They don't want to take a look at something that's in front of them because then they have to deal with it. So in this card, the card after it, you're not blindfolded, your eyes are open, and what you're seeing is difficult. What you're looking at is difficult. It's causing some pain. Right next to that is the Five of Coins. So coins is governed, or pentacles as it's known in other suits, coins is governed by the element of earth. This is about the practical parts of our life, the physical structure of our day-to-day life, and the things in that physical structure that make us feel safe, stable, solid, relied, a sense of continuity, which is often in the tarot why coins point to things like money, finance, property, real estate assets, job, long-term relationships, people we have a long history with, because that kind of, gives us like that grounding point. So here in the Five of Coins, it's about insufficiency and lack. It's not enough. You're reaching out almost in beggar mode, actually in beggar mode in this card. I need, I want, I need to reach out. You might be missing something that's close. In the Gilded Tarot and the Gilded Tarot Royale, it shows a couple who's standing outside of a church and cathedral, like just this woman is, and they're in need. They look a little homeless, shabby. Maybe they're out in the rain or the snow or the cold. And it can be a card about insufficiency and lack, financial and material insufficiency and lack, not having enough money, being out of work, not having a home. On an emotional level, it can represent feeling abandoned, rejected, not good enough, shut out, left out in the cold. And the light that's always shining out through that church or cathedral window represents that just in your environment, you may be missing it, but in your environment is what you need. Maybe you're not. And here, the person actually has their back turned away from the source of light. And the source of light, the implication is that the source of this light inside that building is warmth, clothes, food, love, you know, but you're reaching out away from that. This combination of cards, this Three of Swords and Five of Coins, Aquarius, for some of you, and this feels like a very specific message, so probably maybe not for so many of you, if this is about a long-term relationship, marriage or otherwise, and something has happened, maybe this person hurt you or caused you pain or even vice versa. There's grief, there's sadness here, maybe some regret. You might be still reaching out for that person, asking for that person, needing, wanting from that person. But you may be looking in the wrong direction. You may be reaching out to the wrong person because what you need is perhaps right behind you and you're missing it because of the grief. It could be sometimes that, if this is an actual financial or material situation, it could be that some of you may be looking for help or resources in the wrong place. maybe the place or the person or people or place where you were betrayed from in the very beginning. If that's the case, you just because you may want to take a step back and take a wider look at what's available or what might be available to you in terms of resources around you rather than where you're actually asking for help from, regardless of what the nature of that help is: finances, material issues, resources, love, because there's something else available to you, but you need to like broaden kind of where you're looking, because it looks like you're focused on reaching for something that might not be forthcoming. Now, the positive aspect, but it has to do with home and family, the security and stability and happiness of home and family. So for some of you, it might be finances. I mean, I know a lot of us have gone through just terrible financial struggles during the pandemic and things being shut down and being furloughed or laid off, or, there's rent and mortgages and just all of this stuff. And maybe you're looking towards asking for or waiting for financial material help or resources from a place that you're just like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's not forthcoming. You might want to take a step back and take a look else at where you can go for help, because the Five of Coins fundamentally, regardless of whether what you're waiting for and where you're waiting for it to come from comes through in the end or not, there's something else available to you there. So it's worth taking a step back. Now, if this is a romantic, because it's all about, your happy home. Now, if this is relationship oriented, again, you may want to take a step back and take a look at, look, if this is a person that's hurt me, that's betrayed me, they're leaving me feeling like I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough of this, or I'm not enough of that. Why am I, hanging around and still begging, or still, waiting for them to make me feel better about myself? You may want to take a step back, because there is definitely more options around you. You can't see them just because you're focused on that one person who perhaps has treated you rather shabbily and left you, whether physically or emotionally, you know, like a beggar. So the beautiful energy here. There's something about this, though. I feel like there's something better, like right around the corner, not too far away. Underneath this, we have some beautiful cards. We have the Sun and the Six of Coins. The Sun is an uplifting of energy. Just like the actual sun comes out, it affects everything. It shines over everything. I mean, everybody feels better once, you know, I keep wanting to say when I see the sun, once the long, cold night is done, and it sounds like something right out of Game of Thrones, which is a series I really love. I know it's terribly violent, but I loved it. It was a great series. And it has dragons. Who could not love that? Okay. Everybody feels better once the sun comes up. Even if there's still no clear solution or path, it automatically affects everything. There's an uplifting of energy, a loosening up of previously restrictive energies. If this is about finances, relief is coming pretty soon, um, because the sun represents a lessening, sometimes even negating of that. And the sun is the most powerfully influential positive card in the tarot, because just like when the actual sun comes out, it shines over everything, it illuminates everything, there's no shadows, and it affects everything. So does the sun card when it comes out in a spread. It acts as a boost to other positive energy cards, and it can lessen any challenging energy in the cards around it as well. So even though we do have this Three of Swords and the Five of Coins, I think for many of you, it's not as intense as it could have been. There's this underground thread of hope here. I think a lot of you are waiting for something. I'm not really strongly picking up, although this could be about a romantic relationship, an emotional relationship kind of thing. And of course, it might affect that. Finances and financial struggles do affect our relationships as well. I'm not feeling a strong attachment to that. So it might only be that for some of you. For the rest of you, I feel like it's probably in the earth energy area of your life, the coin energy of your life, something that has to do, it may affect your home and family life in a very emotional way, but it feels more concrete to me, like money, finances, jobs, something to do with that. There is this undercurrent of hope, because we have the sun and we have the Six of Coins, which is often a gift giving and gift receiving card, a mutually beneficial relationship, a mutually beneficial partnership, giving, receiving. It may be that, you know, I know a lot of people because of the pandemic have either lost their jobs or had their hours cut down or been furloughed or they're suffering financial and material and resource lack, lessening and loss during this time. Um, I mean, the situation's fluid. It's going to probably continue to be fluid for some time, but I feel like that energy is going to begin to lift in cycles over the next, few months and as time continues to go on. And I feel like because of that, even though a lot of you may be going through these hardships right now, there's still, and you're waiting, there's still this, and there's this undercurrent of hope in it, though. It's like, that it's coming back. You don't have it right now, and therein lies the hardship. And it affects your home and family, which is difficult to deal with. But the sun is coming. It's just behind the clouds right now. But those clouds will pass. Again, I'm feeling a strong message for some of you, a specific message. Be careful about putting yourself in a position, particularly in a relationship, where you're in beggar mode asking for someone to give you love, to make you feel good enough. Be careful about that. It can really erode a person's self esteem. So be careful not to get yourself caught in that, because regardless of what they may be saying to you, which preys on your insecurity issues, there is lots more available to you right behind you. Broaden your focus a bit, take a step back. The same for those of you that may be applying for financial aid or some kind of resources or something, and people are telling you, well, you're going to have to wait and stuff. Well, that may be true, but I feel like there's also maybe other resources and other areas you can go for help or work or something. It's right there. You can't see it because you're just focused on this one particular path. So take a step back and take a look around. There's more available for you. Let's take a look at the immediate future. I did this for Cancer too because I feel like this energy is going to be shifting in a much more positive way quite soon. Let's just take a look at the immediate future. So we're looking at, maybe like the last half of May, first part of June. I mean, I'll be doing mid-months in a couple of weeks anyway, but let's take a sneak peek. The Knight of Swords popped out, so there's news and information coming out maybe around mid-month. Maybe around the middle of the month, the third week of the month or so. Knight of Swords here, bringing that information, that news. The Ace of Cups, beautiful, so new beginnings. The Eight of Wands, action, movement, maybe some travel for some of you. Um, Travel how? I don't know. Uh, I know with all the restrictions we have in place and stuff like that, it's difficult, if not impossible, for some of us. But I mean, I do see some kind of travel for some of you. It may have to do with reuniting with a person or a loved one or something of that sort. Maybe for some of you, that's what this is too. You're waiting and waiting and waiting to be reunited with someone you care about, or family, or your family. Maybe you've been estranged or separated or quarantined. Any of that kind of stuff. And what's coming very shortly, maybe in the last half of May or first part of June, is being able to travel to physically come together again. And that's why the energy shifts so quickly. Yeah. So to clarify the Three of Swords and the Five of Coins, we have the Hanging Man and the Ten of Wands. While you're in this difficult period, this challenging period, maybe in the first half of May, it feels like it's going to last forever. I mean, the Hanging Man, he's watching things play out. There's no movement, stasis, limbo. The Ten of Wands, struggling along this heavy, heavy burden. That's what I think. I feel like it's a relatively short period of time, even with all this pandemic stuff, even though in the midst of it, it feels like it's been going on forever, that it's going to go on forever. In terms of actual chronological time, it's not. And I don't think it's going to go on for forever. But while you're in this time frame, it does. But what's coming is the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Wands. So this energy vanishes or uplifts like really quickly. And again, I'm getting physical movement and coming together for some of you. So, however that's going to work, I often can't see exactly how, but I can tell you that it's coming for many of you. Let's just clarify really quickly this Ten of Cups. So, it looks like in the last half of May, but I think it's more towards the very end of May, like the last week of May, first week of June. That's when this comes in. The news comes in, and perhaps some of the restrictions lift, and there's some coming together, travel for some of you. Whatever this hardship is, if it's financial, material hardship, emotional hardship, regardless of the details and specifics, always tricky in a general reading. Your Ace of Cups could be new love and romance, emotional renewal, coming back together again, some restrictions lifted, being able to travel, reuniting is what I'm getting, home and family, I think, for a lot of you, and reuniting with friends, family, and loved ones that you've been separated from, estranged from, quarantined from, etc. Let's clarify this Ten of Cups. Because your focus is home and family and the happiness and stability of home and family. It's just a struggle and a hardship right now. The Nine of Wands, and then the Six of Wands. So the Nine of Wands, struggling through, but almost at the end, and you do have the Ten of Wands here. It's like, it feels like the first 3 weeks of May is just kind of like this. It's a bit of a struggle. There's an undercurrent of hope, I think, because you know it's going to lift at some point. You know it's going to lift at some point. Something just came up on my computer. I hope it didn't come through, but if it did, I apologize. It's difficult to go through this time, even though you know that the energy is going to uplift. It's just like you don't know when, and it feels like forever, especially maybe for the first 2 or 3 weeks of May. But then it feels like the last part of May and the first part of June, it's like the energy completely shifts and changes. It just looks like a little bit of a challenge getting through these next couple of weeks, Aquarius, which you are well able to do. And again, I think for many of you, the undercurrent underneath that, even though it looks like a challenge, underneath that, especially in, sorry, somebody's sorry about that. Well, we're at the very end of this. Let's just get through this. So, and I think a lot of you, because this is the undercurrent, you know it's coming. It's just the challenge is in knowing exactly when, and the uncertainty and the fluidity of it all, but it is coming. Okay, Aquarius, that is your reading for the first half of May. I hope that you found it helpful and useful. If it resonated with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something or reach out for a personal reading or information about a personal reading, let me know. You can email me at Maggie, the number one, McGuire@gmail.com. Click on the description link below, that little arrow that pulls down info, and you'll see all of that there. I'll see you all again in a couple of weeks for the May mid-month general readings. Until then, I wish you much joy, love, peace. Stay well, stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye bye.